assault, armed assault, and dwelling, and 2 counts of assault and battery of the occurring at 4 Center Roll.
Have a seat, please, ma'am.
Approximately 5:30 p.m. last evening, the Lowell Police Department responded to 72 Walker Street in Lowell for a priority 1 call for an individual and staff. The Lowell Police Department was told by dispatch that the 3rd floor tenant, later identified as the tenant, had forced his way into the 2nd floor tenant's apartment. Staff the individual and has since fled back to his apartment on the 3rd floor. On arrival, officers of the Lowell Police Department heard coming from the defendant's apartment a male screaming and frantically moving around the apartment. The male was screaming, "Fuck the police, come in and get some. I'll stab all of you. You ain't gonna get me alive, and I'll slice your throat." Officers were able to see through part of the door, which was missing a deadbolt. The defendant, armed with an 8-inch knife, roaming around the apartment. The apartment pocket knife also clipped to him as well. The door was barricaded with a chair in front of it. It was at this time the Lowell Police Department attempted to get the defendant out peacefully. However, the defendant continued to state that he had guns in the apartment and he would start shooting at them through the door. The Lowell Police at this time set up a perimeter around the home, all the other tenants out of the home, and contacted the SWAT unit to come down. The defendant continued to state that he had a hostage and he would kill him, and stated that there was a pit bull also that was learned to be inside the apartment. The officers continued to try to get the defendant to drop the knives. However, he began throwing items around the apartment as well as throwing knives at the closed door. Officers continued to make attempts to get him out. The SWAT teams then arrived. At one point, the defendant removed the barricade from the door, opened the door and demanded a cigarette from the officers. He then turned the corner and began challenging the officers to shoot him. At this time, the defendant was armed with a knife and a spatula. He began holding those items to his neck and stated that he was going to slit his throat. The officers ordered him to drop the knives. At this point, the officers and the defendant were approximately 10 feet away from each other. The defendant at that time began spitting at the officers. The officers, in response to this, at the time, dispersed a beanbag round that hit the defendant in the left rib cage. However, it did not have the desired effect. The defendant said, quote, "I deflected that shit," and went back into the house and then barricaded himself back in. The negotiators from the SWAT team were able to get the defendant in custody during this whole ordeal lasted approximately 2 hours last evening. However, they were able to get the defendant under arrest at that time. After placing the defendant under arrest, the Lowell police then went to the 2nd floor apartment and spoke with the individuals at that apartment. Upon speaking with those individuals, they stated that the defendant had come into the 2nd floor apartment. He made his way in. He was armed with a knife when he made his way in. He was demanding to know who called the police because of the noise playing in his apartment. It was at this time, when he came into the home armed with a knife, that one of the individuals was stabbed in the hand by the defendant and had to be treated for those injuries. Officers then spoke with another individual in the apartment who also stated that the defendant forced his way into the apartment holding a knife, demanding to know who called the police. He had a knife and was threatening that other person in the apartment, threatening to kill that woman with the knife. There was also another person in the apartment that corroborated what the other 2 people said. During the basis of the police report, the probable cause, the Commonwealth would state that there is probable cause to hold the defendant without bail pending the hearing.
Judge, have you had the opportunity to review my client's record? There's no question that these are serious events, allegations. However, I don't believe that to hold him without bail at this point for a 58A hearing is called for. I believe there are conditions that will ensure his appearance in court and protect the public. And those conditions include no alcohol, that he stay away from that residence until this is resolved. He has, by the way, been evicted, so that's not an issue. Stay away from the witnesses, report as often as the court would request him to do so. And anything else the court would require. I think that the whole at this point is not called for based on our circumstances. June 13th?
Not a big continuance, it's 13.
Bring champagne.